welcome to another episode of Advocacy in Motion podcast. I'm your host, Trisha Glowacki, so thanks for joining us. Advocacy in Motion here, we provide a voice and a vision to tell the story of area nonprofits and individuals that are making a difference in our community. Tommy Finn, our normal host, will be back next week, so we're missing him this week. We'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Niagara. Niagara has come on board with us, and we just adore them and everything that they do. They are the leading manufacturer of water-conserving plumbing products, and they are a huge partner with Volunteers of America. They do tons of different projects in the area and across America. Their main one is affordable housing. So with like their new stealth toilet, that's like 60% water conservation and saves money in other areas. It affords them to go farther and continue their wonderful charitable work with affordable housing and Volunteers of America and other. They work with a lot of different nonprofits. So today we have Big Brothers Big Sisters of Greater Tarrant County, and we have Rachel Pillar.
That's right.
All right, I got it right. And Maeve Mitchell. And so, Rachel, let's start with you. And I know most people know about Big Brothers Big Sisters, but can you tell us just a little overview about what you do here at Big Brothers Big Sisters Greater Tarrant?
Sure, absolutely. As you mentioned, most people do know of Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's a pretty familiar name. There's affiliates and branches all over the world. Here in Greater Tarrant, we follow that mission of serving children in one-to-one mentoring relationships. They are professionally supported, they're professionally designed, and that's really kind of the magic that makes Big Brothers Big Sisters different from other mentoring organizations. We offer a variety of different program types that will be convenient for any volunteer that wants to be a mentor in our program, as well as makes it easier for kids to enroll and participate. So we're excited to share with you guys the programs that we offer and how to get involved.
Well, that's wonderful. So how, if you wanted to be a volunteer, how would you go about being a mentor for Big Brothers Big Sisters?
So the volunteer process is a little bit lengthy, but it's really pretty easy. There is an online application, and that's the very first step. You complete the application through our website, or if you meet one of our staff members out at a community event, they can give you a link, they can shoot you the application via email. Once the application is completed, our staff start to process it. So there are background check requirements, there are references that we check, things like that. And simultaneous to all of that happening kind of behind the scenes, we have wonderful staff members who are interviewing our volunteers. So there's an interview component. And the interview, it's pretty extensive, but it's really designed to make sure that we are finding the exact right child for each volunteer. A lot of people believe that we match on a first come, first serve basis, and that's not the case at all. It's one of those things that make us stand out from other organizations. We really take the time to match based on preferences, life experiences, a volunteer's own childhood and what they had experienced or learned growing up. And then we try to match them with compatible traits in a child. We ask the volunteer what kind of kid they see themselves working best with, those sorts of things. And so that interview can take a while. Mm-hmm. Once the interview is complete and all the references and background checks, that process is complete, then they go to another staff member who is trained specifically on making that perfect match. So as far as the work and the effort that go into it from a volunteer standpoint, that first step is just completing the application. Everything else, our staff really tries to make it as simple and easy and kind of hold your hand throughout the whole process. Maeve here is one of our wonderful enrollment specialists, so that is where her magic lies, is in helping those volunteers find the right fit for them as they come through our process and making sure that they have an excellent experience.
That's awesome. And Maeve, I know you have a great testimonial for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and who better to ask, how it can benefit the littles, and how do you go about, enrolling your child, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and your whole past.
Yeah, so I was actually a little with Big Brothers Big Sisters in Greater Tarrant, and I was matched with my big, I think I was about maybe 9 or 10 years old, and we were matched for quite a few years, and it was really great. Like Rachel said, throughout, I guess, her interview and my interview as a child, we found common interest. And we were matched. We were able to kind of build on those common interests. And I was able to explore different things with her, and get to know different parts of the community, different things I can do with my life, different things just overall in life that life has to offer. And it was really cool to see that through my big. And then I was actually a big whenever I was in college, which was really cool. I was matched in like a school-based program. So that's where I was at the school with the little. I would meet with them once a month, and then on lunches on occasion. So now I work here doing our volunteer interviews. As Rachel said, the interviews are quite extensive, but it's a really awesome opportunity to figure out why, as a volunteer is going through it, figure out what it is that they want to do with their little, and they get to explore and talk about their expectations and their hopes and why they want to be a big. And it's really inspiring to hear those stories as well, because a lot of time volunteers say that they wish they had a mentor and they wish they had a program like Big Brothers Big Sisters when they were growing up. So it's a good process to go through and kind of understand why you want to be a big as well.
Well, and tell us what is the criteria to be a little? Like, I know some people think, okay, they do that, but I mean, what I guess qualifies or for a little to join the program?
Yeah, so all a little has to be is between the ages of, I believe it's 7 and 16. And that's really all. It's obviously we want a child who wants to be involved in the program. Their parents want them to be involved in the program. But there's no requirement in terms of different backgrounds the child might have, different experiences. They can come from a single parent household or a 2-parent household. We have a lot of littles who live with their grandparents, or they'll have a couple siblings, or maybe they'll be an only child. So there's no requirement for our littles other than being within that age range and being excited and eager to join the program.
And how, with your experience as a little, how did that help you in life and all the benefits that you got from that?
Yeah. Well, I remember one thing with my big is I really wanted to be an interior designer, and she had gone to school for that. I'm obviously not doing that now, but it was fun to explore that and like what that career path would look like. It definitely opened my eyes into what I can do with my future. My big also really likes yoga. And so I'm not a yogi per se, but I do enjoy doing yoga. So things like that, just, I learned that there's other ways to like practice self-care, and there's other ways to, do your career. You don't have to go to school and do one thing, or you don't have to go to school to do one thing and stick with that path. There's different ways to explore that. And so through that experience, I was able to have that, and then also someone to support me and just talk to outside of my friends and family.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really important. I know, my nephews and I have that relationship, and my kids have that relationship with their aunts and stuff, mm-hmm. and other people. So that's, I firmly believe it takes a village, right? Mm-hmm. Especially nowadays, and just having that good, wonderful support. Rachel, as far as the different programs and stuff, could it just be anything? Say you match a big and a little. Are there resources and different things inside Big Brothers Big Sisters, or does that have to be something that the big plans themselves, or how does that work?
So this is going to be a long answer. I warned you ahead of time. We offer a wide variety of programming options. Most people think of what we call our community-based program when they think of Big Brothers Big Sisters. That is the traditional model where a volunteer, like a big brother or big sister, takes a little into the community. They go to the circus, they go to the park, they just run errands, they spend time together out in the community. We also offer, as Maeve mentioned, school-based programming. Those programs started about 40 years ago after we saw a need for us to be able to serve kids that our schools were referring to us. The parents are still an active part of that, but many of our parents work multiple jobs, and so being able to commit to being at home when the big comes to pick up the little, and being at home when the big gets back from dropping off the little. All of those things were very challenging for some of our parents. The school-based model allows the kids to receive mentoring on the school campus during the school day. And so sometimes it is a Lunch Buddies program, as Maeve mentioned, but we also have a variety of programming within that. So each of the different programs have unique curriculum, unique support from our staff, but regardless of what program a volunteer signs up for, every single match is assigned what we call a match support specialist. Which is kind of just like a friendship coach, is what I tell the kids. Mm-hmm. It's someone who checks in with the match regularly. It's about once a month for the first year that they're together, and then that kind of tapers off over time as that relationship grows. And during the match support contacts, they offer all sorts of guidance and support. If it's a community-based match, they tell them, here's a great resource, or a whole list of things going on in the community that you guys could do this weekend that are free activities. Mm-hmm. We also provide a lot of activities for community-based matches. We have an annual picnic every year that has about 600 people out at it. It's an awesome event. You should come out and see. I will. It's really cool. We offer teen conferences and educational workshops. We offer holiday parties at the end of the year. There's pumpkin carvings around Halloween. There's sports clinics. There's reading programs. There's reading clubs. There's all sorts of activities all throughout the year that are open to community-based matches that we provide free of charge. We also get donations from some of our really generous supporters for professional sporting event tickets, tickets to musicals and the symphony, all of those experiences that our kids might not otherwise get to have. We like to kind of use that saying, if they can't see it, they can't be it. As Maeve mentioned, part of having a mentor is exploring what is out there. And so we want to make it as easy and low cost or free for our mentors as possible, for them to be able to offer as many unlimited experiences to their kid as they can. In our school-based programming, we offer a lot of the same things, but just kind of pared back some. Since they obviously aren't out in the community together, we do like to offer programming that focuses on maybe building reading skills. For some of our volunteers, even leaving work every day at lunch to go meet with a kid can be challenging. So we've adapted over the last few years to include hybrid programming, where once a week, volunteers can log in from their computer and read with their little in real time. The kids at the school, we've provided them with their own tablets, and so they're going through reading programs, reading apps together to build literacy skills for kids who the school have identified as having some struggles in that area. We offer financial literacy for some of our older kids to talk about personal budgeting and what is credit? How do you use credit appropriately? Things like that. And we've provided our volunteers with the tools to help guide them through that. In fact, in our high school age group, we offer at 2 local campuses what we call Mentor 2.0, which is a college and career readiness, really just focused on post-secondary success. And for each of our kids, that looks different. We like to consider the 3 E's when we're talking about success for the kids in our program. And that is enrollment, enlistment, or employment. So our goal is that every kid that graduates out of our program has a plan under one of those 3 E's. They're either going to enlist in the military, they're going to enroll in a 4-year university, a trade school, some sort of continuing education, or they're going to be employed in a career path, because some kids, that's what they do. They've got a job in high school that's going to actually turn out to be a great career for them, and so we encourage them to go down that path. But that program is another hybrid type of program where they communicate online through a separate platform that offers some texting abilities. It offers a structured curriculum, writing prompts. And then once a month during the school year, we host a dinner at the school campus, and all the mentors and mentees come together, and they get to spend time in person, just kind of fellowshipping and building that relationship and that rapport. So again, we offer all sorts of programming, but whatever type of program a volunteer chooses, their hand is held the entire way. They've got somebody there from Big Brothers Big Sisters to support them, because we also believe it takes a village. This isn't about, as Maeve mentioned, it's not about kids that are needy. It's not about kids that are at risk. Every single one of these kids has raised their hand and said, I want a mentor. So whether you come from a very wealthy background, or you come from maybe you're first generation American and you're being raised by a foster parent, who knows? Every kid has a different experience in life, and we have a place for all of them. We have, for that reason, a need for volunteers from all walks of life. We need young volunteers. We need old volunteers. We need every race, religion, creed, gender. It doesn't matter. For every one child we have waiting, for every 7 kids we have waiting, we have about 1 volunteer. Wow. So one of our biggest needs is in volunteer recruitment. And that's why I love the opportunity for us to share more about what we do, because I think sometimes people have a misconception about what mentoring is. They think it's something big or heavy, or that they have to have a degree, or they have to be a successful professional, or whatever that is. But really, we just need more adults that want to be friends to these children. They want to come along beside them, share their own life experiences, and say, hey, I know that you have the potential to be anything you want to be, and I just want to be here to help you.
That's amazing. Thanks. Maeve, what age do you have to be to become a big? What is the minimum age?
Right. So we ask that you are at least 18, but we do find that it's good to have not only just be 18, but be or 18 years or older, but also be in a place where you are stable in terms of your career. You're not planning on moving. There's nothing major going on in your life, because we do ask for at least a year commitment to the program. So we do look for volunteers who are, as I said, 18 years or older, but then also in a good place to start a mentoring relationship.
And do you find, that say they the little moves, or they age out of it or something, do you have a lot of the same mentors coming back, or do they take a break, or it just depends on, I'm sure their life changes too, especially if they're younger starting out.
Right. So it could be, there's a lot of different reasons why a big might take a break, but we do find that we do have a lot of bigs who return, but I'm not the exact number on how many return, but it does happen, or we'll have bigs. I've interviewed a lot of bigs because we have a lot of people moving to Texas. So bigs from different parts of the country who were a mentor in, let's say, California or Alaska or somewhere. And they come and they want to give back here in the area because they enjoyed the program somewhere else. And so they're wanting to do it here in their new home and new area.
Right. Well, you guys talk about a lot of things that you offer and going out and stuff. How do you guys get your support? How, if someone doesn't have time to maybe sign up to be a big, how can they volunteer in other ways, or donate money or resources for you guys?
Absolutely. I love to say that we've got a place for everyone from 6 to 106, which is true. I always tell the story. We had one mentor many years ago who celebrated her 103rd birthday with one of our little sisters. So that was really neat. But as you mentioned, mentoring is not always the right fit for everybody. I myself have been a mentor a few times, but right now with everything that's going on in my personal life, I don't have the time to make that kind of commitment. But we have a lot of opportunities for volunteers to do either just a one-time volunteer experience. As I mentioned, we have events like the big picnic, things where our matches are at, that volunteers can come out and lead a sports clinic, or we have some volunteers that will come and do art classes or little, host arts and crafts for our kids at events. So match activities is what we call those. That's one way that people can plug in with us. We also offer fundraising events. We have signature events throughout the year. We have two coming up actually in April. We have a pickleball tournament in Grapevine at Chicken and Pickle, who's been a wonderful supporter for us. And then we've got a Big Taste of Fort Worth, which is our sort of cornerstone signature event in Greater Tarrant. This is our 43rd year to host this event. We missed a couple of years because of COVID, unfortunately, but it has been going on for a very long time, and it is a pretty well-known and well-respected event. It's kind of a food and wine type of a festival, and it offers an opportunity for a ton of volunteering because it is an all-day event. So if people are interested in learning about that, they can Google Barrett Havern Memorial, Big Taste of Fort Worth, and it'll pull up the website, and they can go through there, and there's like a link if they want to volunteer there. They can also contact our office for any other opportunities. We have a casino night in the fall. We have all sorts of things that people can sign up and work at our fundraising events. Then we also just have opportunities for awareness and engagement. We're always looking for people that want to come out and just share more about our mission. Each month, we've been really blessed to have several different companies that will offer give back nights or some sort of, a discount if you come and say Big Brothers Big Sisters or that sort of thing. And so throughout the year, we will have these sort of happy hours or community awareness events or things like that. And we always need volunteers out there just being sort of an ambassador for our organization and sharing about our mission and helping us find more volunteers. And then, of course, there's just being a donor. If you don't have a lot of time, but you do have other resources that you want to give. We always say we like people's time, talent, or treasure. It doesn't really matter, however they want to engage with us. That can also be done through the website. We have some people that we call matchmakers that make a monthly commitment each month. And there's different levels. It could be as simple as $10 a month. And it can go a really long way to helping us provide sustained support. As Maeve mentioned, we ask for a 1-year commitment, but our average length of match is about 3.5 years. Okay. And that is really not entirely accurate because it only includes matches that have closed. So those that are closing early because people move or life circumstances change. We have some matches that have been in our program 10, 11, or even 12 years. And so, that sort of sustainability takes a lot of financial commitments. Those staff members that are there as their coaches, those match support specialists, putting on these big activities so that our mentors can have all of these great experiences with their littles and not have to pay anything out of their own pocket. There's never any fees for anyone in our program. We eat all the expenses of community background checks, fingerprinting if that's necessary. The time that it takes to enroll and process all of our volunteers and all of our families. We didn't mention earlier, but our families are also interviewed when they go through the process. Mm-hmm. The kids are interviewed, and as Maeve mentioned, the first thing we ask them is, first we ask them, do you know what a big is? A lot of them think it's truly a big brother or a big sister, so we explain about mentoring. And the next question we ask them is, do you want to do that? Is that something that you want to be a part of? Because we don't want to create a situation for any volunteer where they're with a child who's being forced to do this.
Right.
Very rarely do we ever have a kid who says, no, I don't want another friend. I don't want someone to hang out with.
Right.
So most of these kids are very excited to be here. Unfortunately, many of them are waiting a long time to get matched, sometimes as much as a year or two.
Wow.
And so that's when those volunteers that can be out in the community helping us recruit more bigs are just vital for the continuing success of our program.
Okay. And tell us, talking about donations, what is your website? Where can people go online? I'm assuming to buy tickets to your events?
Yes, that's a great question. So if they go to BBBS, Big Brother, Big Sister, and then TX, like Texas.org, so BBBS.tx.org. They can choose which market. So Greater Tarrant is represented there. We are also part of an organization that covers 4 other markets. Mm-hmm. So if your listeners are listening in Houston and they want to give in Houston, if they're listening in Abilene and want to give in Abilene, they can choose their local market. And then within those markets, there's opportunity to sign up to be a matchmaker, to make a one-time donation of any amount, as well as volunteer opportunities and more about our events as well.
That's wonderful. And I'm assuming you do have corporate sponsorships at a lot of your events.
We do, yes. We've been very fortunate to have some great supporters. Higginbotham, Lockheed Martin have been some of our supporters. GM Financial is a great supporter of ours. Alcon, we have pretty much all of the big companies in Fort Worth have supported us through our events or through corporate grants. Charles Schwab, you'll start to see their name on all sorts of things. We've created a great partnership with them where their employees, not only do they donate out of their own pocket, they did a gift drive for us for the holidays. Mm-hmm. They also volunteer to be mentors in our program. The corporate grant has been written that provides us funding to do some financial literacy pieces. And then there's also been support in our signature event. So the pickleball is presented by Charles Schwab.
Oh, wonderful.
Casino Night in the Fall was presented by Charles Schwab. So there's definitely some great corporate supporters out there.
Well, that's awesome. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So we can go to BBBSTX.org.
Yes.
Right? And what is your next event that's coming up?
So the very next one that's coming up is our pickleball tournament.
Okay.
Actually leading up to that, at Chicken and Pickle in Grapevine, which is a new location, just opened up. It's the biggest chicken and pickle that there is
it's
so
like
far.
taking off like
it
crazy
is.
right
It's
now.
amazing. It is amazing. And they have been so gracious. They, in the 2 weeks leading up to our event, are going to be promoting Big Brothers Big Sisters with a cup promotion. So anyone who goes out to Chicken and Pickle, and they do this for lots of nonprofits. They're a great company. and purchases anything that's not water, any sort of a drink, it comes in this really neat little souvenir cup, and $1 of every purchase goes back to Big Brothers Big Sisters for the full 2 weeks leading up to the event. And then on Tuesday night, March 28th, we're doing one of those community awareness events at Chicken and Pickle, and they are also doing a give back. So a portion of all the proceeds from 6 to 8 that night will be donated to Big Brothers Big Sisters. And they're giving us some space where we can just set up a booth and try to do some volunteer recruitment. So anyone that's listening that, is around Grapevine on March 28th, come on out. We'd love to see you and tell you more about Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Well, that's amazing. And is there anything that we didn't talk about or that I missed that you want to mention, or we get? Yeah. Just get out there and open up your time and your wallet and
That's
get
right.
your company to do that. Maeve, I thank you again so much for coming, and I think you're going to go far with this because you have such a personal testimony, and I love that. I love that. And Rachel, thank you so much for coming. Anytime you guys have anything going on, let us know. We'll be happy to promote it.
Wonderful.
And just good luck and everything, and we look forward to seeing you at some of these wonderful events coming up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And before we close the show today, we want to thank another one of our wonderful sponsors, Prana Haven. It's a great little shop in downtown Richardson, in the newly renovated downtown Richardson at 107 South McKinney. Energy, wellness, and gifts for the soul. That's Prana Haven. Prana is Sanskrit meaning for the life force and vital energy, and that's exactly what you'll find there, from local artists, handcrafted jewelry, free trade merchandise, plus an assortment of sage crystals and incense. Check out pranahaven.com, and they have many classes throughout the month. They are open Monday through Saturday from noon to 6, and if you see Alex out there, tell her we said hi. All right. Thank you guys again, and thank you everyone for another podcast and listening to Advocacy in Motion.